Hi, welcome to my presentation, Bridging the Gap with Technology. We have 5 adapters that can fill the gap with technology and education. The first one is innovators. Innovators are the ones who's willing and always want to try new things. They always tend to innovate and create ways to get technology inside the classrooms. They're also the ones who's always try the first product, which they're the one who's like inventing. If you are innovators, you are willing to take the risk to try new things to further your knowledge and everyone else's. The second one is adopters, early adopters. Early adopters has a limited boundaries in social system. According to Rogers, argued that since early adopters are more likely to hold leadership in the social system, other members come to them to get advice or information about the innovation. This is the second phase of product purchaser following innovators. They tend to use the innovation and make reasoned decisions as to whether or not to become involved in a particular product. So early adopters are the first one who's using the innovations from the innovators, and early adopters are more likely to hold the leadership to be using that innovation in education, and they're the ones deciding whether this could be involved in education or it's going to help a lot of people using this innovation, and that's the early adopters. The third one is early majority. This is the next one after early adopters. They're the one who's to have innovation, to have a mass market for everyone to use. So they're the one who's deciding whether the innovation from the innovators, they're the ones deciding whether this can be in a mass market for everyone to use. This class of adopter is reasonably risk averse and wants to be sure that they're often more limited resources are spent wisely on products. Late majority, this is the part who always tend to wait for the early majority to use the innovation before they use it. They are less risk taker within the 5. They tend to put their resources towards tried and tested solution only and are risk averse. So late majority, they don't use a product unless early majority used it and tried it, and they have to test whether this is useful than the others. Laggard. Laggards, this is the last adopters who tend to be skeptical in the innovation. Laggards values tradition, methods of doing things, and highly averse to change the risk. This part of society is the older ones who has little to no experience in technology. So this part of society is the one who's old, and they tend to be more skeptical in using a technology in their classroom because they tend to value traditional methods in teaching. Okay, utilizing innovators, early adopters, and early majority to lead system with technology. These 3 adopters is the one who always willing to take the risk to newly invented innovation to use in everyday life. They can be utilized to try and make the 21st century era to be more accessible to technology. As Christ shows us in Him before creation, we are to adopt what is given to us from above. As Ephesians 1 verse 4 to 5 mention, for He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. In love, He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ in accordance with His pleasure and will. So Christ taught us how to adopt things. Christ taught us how we can adopt God, the Father, for our lives. And I think as these 3 adopters are helping us to be more accessible to technology to make our future better. So let's utilize late majority and laggards to lead system with technology changes. Early majority and laggards can be utilized to help the early adopters and early majority to make the technology more useful, or have these adopters give their experience to the innovators to see what they can do to help them use technology to better their life. Christ will bless us with helping people. God gave us knowledge to to create a better world. It's just depending on us how we can use it. As Matthew 25 verse 40, the king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for me, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." So as early adopters, early majority, whatever we can do for the early majority and laggards is what we're doing for Jesus Christ. Okay, wrapping up, Jesus gave us talents to put in a good work. God may give this world for us to use to work hard and feel the weight of the world when we are in the brink of destruction. But as Christ an example to put Jesus in good word, I mean, as God, as Christ's example to put God in good works to use our ability to live comfortably. We have talents that God gave us, talents that we can use to make a better world. So as Ephesians 2 verse 10, for we are God's handiwork, create in Christ Jesus to do good works, for which God prepared in advance for us to do. So God prepared in advance for us to do something to make our life better. Thank you.